Uncle Ron. So today's short episode is going to be about Ethernet data switches and Ethernet extenders. And this is a follow-on. I've done several sort of Ethernet related videos. These are all intended to be introductions to what you can do because you probably know it's going to be the Internet of everything. Everything will have an internet device. A lot of them will be Wi-Fi, but they're in the future as internet speeds become faster and faster, and you can get download of 5, 10, or 100 gigabits a second. There'll be devices such as real-time devices that may help you move around. You strap on some devices, and it may be either tethered to an Ethernet cable or maybe a Wi-Fi device, but it'll be basically real time, and you'll be able to. Well, we only move it so fast, but anyway, there in the future. You're going to need as fast Ethernet or as fast a connection as you can get for various future devices in your home. Wi-Fi will continue to expand, but in the end, cabling. And apparently, I looked at the housing market, and upper scale houses usually come with Ethernet planned and built in. So there are various ports all over the house instead of doing Wi-Fi. And huge houses, you can't possibly cover everything with Wi-Fi. So you have to use Ethernet cabling. In very expensive homes, it's more or less standard, and less expensive homes, you have to ask for it. The same way homes used to always include telephone cabling, they do not anymore, and most people wouldn't have any need for telephone cabling throughout their house. But if you are building a house or thinking of building a house or buying one, you might want to see if it already has or could have Ethernet cabling to the most obvious places, such as an entertainment center, such as offices, or other common areas where your kids might gather, and they would maybe put a hotspot there for Wi-Fi or something else. Anyway, underneath of all that is going to be the need for data switches, which will allow you at an Ethernet port to plug in a switch, which then will give you 4, 8, maybe 16 more Ethernet devices you can plug in. This is going to be basically about that, and it shows you introduction to data switch. And in a rare case where you have a really long cable run, more than 200 feet or something, you might need an extender, and that is like an amplifier for the signal that runs on the Ethernet cable. I'm going to do it in two parts. One is where it comes in from my particular modem via coax, how it gets put over into Ethernet, and then way at another end, which is 100 feet away, is uh, another data switch that let me feeds various computers at this location. This is March the 2nd, 2026. Again, it's about Ethernet and data switches, introduction to a data switch, what it does and how you can use them, and also the idea of an Ethernet extender. I hope everybody has a good day, and so far the green screen is more or less holding for me today. Okay, part one. This is going to be about uh, Ethernet data switch and Ethernet extender. And here you see my main setup. This is where coax comes in from Cox right there and into this modem. And on the back of the modem, I have enough. I have one, two, three, I guess four Ethernet ports right in the back of that, so I can plug in four devices, and that I think that's exactly what it's showing. Um, and that's a lot. But if you got Ethernet throughout your house, that won't be enough. Um, so here is what I have. It's called a data switch, and I have this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 port switch. I'm only currently using 3. So, and this is my router. I do not use the router that is built into the Cox modem. I've turned that off. So out of here, the Ethernet, which is 1 gigabit per second, that's the adapter rate. I think I'm getting signed up for 500 megabits per second service. So there it goes into this guy, into the data switch. From the data switch, it can go into the from the router. Yeah, for the modem, it goes directly into the router right over here, and from the router out, which has ports on it as well. One of those ports comes right back into this data switch, and from there I can route. I have it going down to the baseboard where it goes on Cat5 cable to various locations in the house. Point being is a data switch, wherever you have an Ethernet port, you can put a cable between it and the Ethernet port, and that will give you, in this case, 8 more Ethernet ports. Out of here you can run to some other location. If there's an Ethernet port there, you can plug another one of these in and plug another, keep going. You can, if it's not daisy chain, I guess it is, but you can keep, for example, if you have a Ethernet port at your television, you plug your TV in, that's all you can do. You can put in one of these and then have other Ethernet ports available to you for other devices. In general, in general, houses are not wired for Ethernet. There can be an option now, apparently, but a lot of houses, older houses, are wired for telephones. Now, I don't think newer houses even have telephone wiring, so at the house, when it's time it's built, you can either specify I want telephone wiring or you want Ethernet wiring. And if you do that, then you're definitely going to be wanting to look at data switches for your use. Okay, that's covered it here. Again, the Cox modem comes in on coax from the outside, and here I have a gigabit Ethernet adapter, which goes directly to my router. From my router, the Ethernet goes into a data switch. Data switch can feed computers. It feeds Ethernet cabling for various locations in my house, where I can set another data switch and add as many Ethernet-based devices as I want. And okay, this is part 2. I showed you in part 1 I have a data switch setting off of my Cox modem, which gives me lots of Ethernet ports to play with. And one of those ports coming off the switch upstairs, it comes down to this location. And this location is where I take that Ethernet from the modem through a switch, bring it down to another switch, which then feeds these 2 computers. There's usually a third one setting right up here, and it also connects via the old Cat 3 cable. I don't know if it's Cat 5. Yeah, it's probably Cat 5 cable. Cat 5 cable to other locations in the house, one of which is a very long run, and I talked about it in one of my earlier ones, that I thought I really needed an Ethernet extender, and this is what you see here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the Ethernet that's coming out of a switch up by my modem, bringing it down here and feeding into this switch. Out of this switch, I'm taking that and putting it into this extender, and out of the extender goes that line that goes all the way upstairs, like 150 feet or something, to where I have a hotspot. It provides 3 Wi-Fi signals, and at the other end I have another one of these that's taking that amplified signal and then putting it back into a hotspot. So this is showing you how you can use data switches like this, and even an extender if you had a really long Cat5 cable run to boost the signal so you have a good quality signal at the other end. And again, my long run here up to a Wi-Fi hotspot has got to be 150 feet. So I boosted it up, and you see it setting here, banging away. And I had initially had a little trouble, but you see the green is receive and the yellow is a transmit. And I got 2 greens going over there, plus the red light for the power. You can also see over here that this data switch has blinky lights, and in this case you'll see 3 greens and 1 yellow. The greens are gigabit a second. The yellow is 100 megabits a second connection. I'm not even sure where that's going, but all the main computers I have are setting off of a 100 gigabit per second, 1 gigabit a second, sorry, 1 gigabit a second adapter. So again, data switches will let you expand Ethernet to all kind of places and directions, and using Cat3, Cat5, not Cat3, Cat5, Cat6, or whatever. And in the case of a really long run, you can put what's called an Ethernet extender on it and boost that signal up. And this one is working. I haven't done any kind of measurement. I thought about that. I take the extender out of the circuit and measure the download and upload speed using the Wi-Fi connection to see if it helps any. My suspect is that most of the time the signal is fine, but because of power fluctuations in the house, voltage drops down or voltage goes too high, or I guess, radar, somebody sweeps me with radar from a helicopter or something else, or somebody brings on a Wi-Fi in the neighborhood. Anyway, I wanted to strengthen that signal, so that's why I used extender. That's enough of this. Mainly I'd like to introduce you to data switches, which will give you more ports off of any sort of modem you have in your house that's giving you Ethernet. And if you have a computer setting right by your modem, please connect it directly into the modem. Do not use the Wi-Fi. It's way slower than an Ethernet connection. That's it for today. This is Uncle Ron. The stuff today is the 1st of March. I hope this helps, especially with data switches.